guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the newest film that came to theaters, Joker.
If you just...
Before I start my video, make sure that you guys like, comment, and of course subscribe to my videos. I post weekly, and I usually try to aim to post on Mondays and Fridays. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. But anyways, today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Joker, like I already mentioned. And I am going to be doing a spoiler review, but that will be coming on Monday. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. Joker, a film by Todd Phillips, is about a failed comedian, Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who is isolated, bullied, and disregarded by society, and slowly turns to madness as he transforms to the famous criminal known as the Joker. If I'm being completely honest with you, as I was watching this movie, when it ended, I thought to myself, how am I even going to review this film? Just because it's that good. I was kind of speechless, and I was turning to my friends and just like to myself, and I'm like, wow, what a film this was. And I'm just, wow. So I'm not going to be getting into spoilers, so I tried really hard to kind of mention my key points without giving stuff away. So a lot of it will make more sense if you watch the film. So I'm much more a Marvel fan than I am a DC fan, but however, I've always thought the Joker was a really good character, and one of my favorite superhero comic book movies is The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, and I love that movie. I think what Ledger did is awesome, and I'm not even going to compare it to this one because they're both great in different ways. I think what he did was awesome and can never be done, and I think what Phoenix does is also his own unique way, and only he could have done it. So I think both ways of the Joker were awesome. I think he's such a cool character, and I was excited to see him without Batman because every time we've seen the Joker, he's been with Batman, and it's kind of been that story. So I was really excited to see the origin of it, and I was also intrigued by the dark, eerie tone that the trailer had set. I remember when it came out, I was like, wow, this is awesome, because I think it's super cool that this is a comic book movie, but it's totally different than anything else we've seen. It's like really dark. It's a very dark drama. I think it's a drama, not a thriller, but more, it's a very drama movie. And this movie is dark. The trailers show that it's dark, but it's very dark, and it's not even dark because of the violence. Although I do think the violence was crazy sometimes. Like, they showed a lot of stuff. I still think it's more violent psychologically because it deals with a lot of topics that a lot of movies don't want to deal with. And I'll get to that more in a little bit, and also more obviously in the spoiler review. But before I get to that, this movie is amazing, like I've mentioned. Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal in this movie. I kept turning to my friends and being shocked at his performance because I knew he was a great actor. I've seen him in movies before, but he just takes this role to the next level, and I really like that. I do believe that this is one of the best performances this year that I've seen, and I do think that this movie and also his role is deserving of an Oscar, and I really hope that they at least get nominated and of course potentially win. The film portrays Arthur Fleck as a guy with a tragic backstory. Without spoiling the famous line that was in the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling it, I used to think my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy. It perfectly describes the movie because he had a very tragic life, and it shows the development that he has that he took that and obviously went the wrong way because he used comedy as a way to overcome his tragedy, but in a very dark way. And I will say, when I heard that they were going to do an origin story and that of course it was going to be tragic, I was really nervous for how sappy and sad it was going to be because I ultimately didn't want to feel terrible for him and come out of that movie and say, oh man, the Joker is so sad. I didn't want to feel bad for him because he is a terrible person, but I don't think the movie does that at all. Yes, I did feel bad for him, and I'll go more into that when I shift to spoilers, but my heart hurt for him. Hey guys, a little pause in the video. I forgot to mention this in this part especially, but I don't know if I mentioned it at the rest of the review. I wanted to say, because I came up with this right after I stopped filming, I think the movie does a really good job of making you feel bad for Arthur, and then differentiating Arthur versus the Joker. So when I'm talking about my heart hurt for him, I actually refer to Arthur. And I know they're the same character, but to me, Arthur and the Joker are two completely different sides. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, enjoy the review. The way that Phoenix's performance and the art direction did it, it was still dark because you slowly, come on, at the beginning of the movie, I kept kind of like being mad at people in the film, which I can't really say what happens because of things that they would do to him. And he even says it, in a line, he says, why can't you people just be kind or something? And then I just thought it was so cool the way that they did it, that it's one of those films that you just have to see it to get what I'm saying, because his performance was so crazy good because it had darkness to it, and it showed how that tragedy can turn somebody crazy. And I think it's such a realistic movie and a realistic portrayal of a character, because it happens every day. Something as bad as what he went through, or even whatever, just a tragedy can make somebody go mad. And I think what this movie does that a lot of movies don't do is it puts the audience kind of at fault, because yes, the Joker is the villain, but in this sense, it's asking and it's telling the audience how the society can turn somebody insane, how their actions have consequences. And even though the Joker's actions are forgivable, it's still, the movie shows that without certain actions, he probably wouldn't have done what he did and become what he did. And I think it was so awesome because it kind of put you in that perspective, and that's why I kept thinking about it when the movie ended. And I saw it last night on Tuesday, and I'm still thinking about it. And when this video goes up on Friday, I'm still going to be thinking about it. It's one of those movies that you just, like, you have it in your head, and it makes you question things. And I also think that's why this movie is getting a lot of controversies, because it's what Todd Phillips did is something risky, I think, by putting that element and not blaming society, but just putting them in the film and saying that your actions have consequences. And I think that by doing that, they did a really good job, because I didn't think that they were going to do that. And it, again, like I said, it got me thinking a lot. I kind of wanted to compare this to another comic book movie. They have really nothing in common other than the fact that I think that they're both great comic book movies, because they don't seem like the typical superhero comic film. The M. Night Shyamalan's Split, Glass, Unbreakable, I totally said that out of order. It's Unbreakable, Split, Glass series. The two of them are a great example of an origin story done well, showing a supervillain, a superhero, and I think that it's awesome. This movie is very well a drama. It's super dark, and I want more comic book movies to be like this, because this didn't even feel like a superhero movie. I love superhero movies. I love Marvel, and they have kind of like a different take on it, but this one's just solely a dark drama, and I loved that. It was very serious. Also, I wanted to mention Phoenix's laugh. What a good laugh.
To your fear and sorrow, and that life is still worthwhile. If you
What's so funny?
just
Freak!
There were moments in the film where he kind of would choke on his own laugh, and he kept, like, it hurt him to laugh. It was like physically painful for him and physically painful for me. It made me feel super uncomfortable and bad for him, and like I just wanted to try to help him, and like that sound, I have it in my head. But it's everything that a Joker laugh should entail. It was tragic, painful, creepy, all of that. Also Arthur, I loved when they did that. Would laugh at the wrong moments when he would go to like comedy skits and comedy shows. And because, I mean, come on, that's like how the Joker is. And it also, those types of aspects also made me feel uncomfortable. Which, speaking of, I keep mentioning uncomfortable. The entire film made me feel uncomfortable and tense, but I didn't hate it. I actually loved that they did that, because it perfectly matches the tone that they were trying to portray. It had a green tone, a color scheme in the entire film, and filmmakers usually use green, I believe, to show corruption, darkness, danger, and it succeeded by showing all of that. It was very like, they would show a lot of scenes of his house in Gotham, and it was all gross and ugly, filthy, and it had that green tone, and that it added to that feeling of uneasiness, if that makes any sense. I can't wait to get into spoilers to mention specific scenes, because I feel like with non-spoiler reviews, you're kind of constricted because you obviously don't want to give anything away. So again, make sure to come back on on Monday to see the spoiler review. Also, Phoenix proved that he can be a great Joker without the typical Joker makeup. Yes, he does wear the typical Joker makeup, as we saw in the trailer. And the scene where he actually starts putting that on, the musical score, the dancing, his acting, everything just comes together. And I got chills all over my body. And I cannot wait to watch the film again, to watch that moment again. It was really awesome. And that scene alone is worth watching. And also a scene that happens at the end that I actually found on Twitter. So be careful, like, people that haven't seen it for spoilers. I saw it and I'm going to talk about it in the spoiler review and what my opinion is on it. But speaking of chills, the score is magnificent. Musical scores are awesome. I have an entire playlist on Spotify just on musical scores, which I'm going to link down below because I just love listening to them. They make me escape into the movie world. And the music was composed by Hildur. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I wish I did, but she's super awesome, and I'll link all her info down below. And the music was great. It made the scenes more intense. It made them more sad. It added a lot to it. And I think the movie wouldn't have been what the movie is without the score. The movie is also really well directed. The shots are beautiful. There are a bunch of scenes with stairs of going up and down, and that just adds a lot of symbolism. There's, again, a lot of symbolism in the film and a lot of, like, juxtaposition of things. And a lot of parallels to the beginning and middle of the film. There's a lot of it. It's really great, well written. I also think that the direction and the cinematography could be nominated. And I hope the screenplay is nominated because the screenplay adds so much to this movie. There are so many great lines that are awesome. They're awesome. A lot of them are in the trailer and a lot of them aren't. And I can't wait to discuss my favorite line ever in this movie because I wrote it down like the minute the movie ended because it was just that good. So anyway, to sum it up, this movie is brilliant. Everything about it is amazing, and my high expectations for this movie were achieved. It was awesome. It was better than what I expected, actually. And this movie is in my top 3 of the year, unless 3 more movies come out between our last 3 months, which I don't think so, but you never know. This movie will remain in my top 3. I don't know if it's my favorite film, but it's definitely one of my favorite films of the year. And I can't wait to see what the future for it is. I hope it really gets nominated for something because I think it totally deserves it. It's a film that I think everybody needs to watch because it puts things into perspectives and it asks questions that need to be asked. And I think it has a lot to show. I know it's a movie, but it has a lot to show about the world. And yeah, I'm going to give this movie an A+. Awesome movie. I totally agree with the audience Rotten Tomatoes score of like 91%. I would have given it a 95%. An awesome movie. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've seen the movie, make sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure to come back on Monday when I post my spoiler review, and there we'll get to talk about literally everything about the movie. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
If you just smile.